everyone, it's Holly. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you joined me today. Today's video, I'm bringing you a fall homeschool midterm update. So this is just how things are going this year so far, now that we've been back in school for about 9 weeks or so. I also am going to be sharing with you our electives that we've chosen. I mentioned back in August when we got started that I'd let you know what our family subjects were and some of these extra electives that we were doing where I hadn't received all the curriculum in or anything yet. And so we did receive that curriculum in, and although we haven't started all of it, we have begun majority of that. So I wanted to share that with you today as well. Also, if it's your first time clicking on my video, welcome. I'm so glad you decided to join me today for this video. I would love for you to stay around and join the community, and you can do so by clicking the subscribe button below, and be sure to click that bell notification also so you'll know when my videos actually post and you won't miss one. Let's jump right into where we are and how things are going so far. So for the elective for my oldest daughter, she's the one that has the majority of electives, being in 3rd grade now. But one of the things that we chose for her was The Good and the Beautiful. When I originally selected her literature books, four of the books that I chose were from Good and the Beautiful, and it was part of the Language Arts 5 package. I was looking for advanced books for her to read that were just kind of clean and pure and things I didn't really have to vet too much. And I ran into them at the homeschool convention and picked that up, and it came with 4 books that we're reading, which we haven't yet started, but we were about to get started on those. We were going through some Rebecca Language Arts books, which was about 5 different ones from their level 3. We didn't order all of their books, we just ordered the novels. And so we've been going through those. And then now that we are finishing up with those in the next week, we're going to be diving into the next 4 books. And I knew that we would probably finish all the books by the end of this fall semester, and we were highly on pace to do that, but I kind of slowed things down a little bit to create an opportunity for more narration by my daughter on what she was reading and some more dialogue between her and myself. In particular, a book worthy of mention is Pilgrim's Progress. We read the part 1, which was Christian story. And that was my first time reading through it. And so that was such an enjoyable book, and I highly recommend that book in your homeschool. Just the vocabulary that's introduced to them and the character traits that's introduced to my daughter, and just how, even though it's a fantasy story, it aligns with a lot of stories in the Bible. And I thought that was unique, that when you have these fantasy stories, sometimes they're based upon true stories also, even though the book itself is not a true story. So Pilgrim's Progress, like I said, is worthy of mention. If you have not read that in your homeschool, I recommend it. For 3rd grade is where we're reading it at. I don't know that I would read it with any other younger child. And if you did, you may just be rereading it again for them to understand the depthness of the vocabulary and just the different comparisons of the story and how it aligns with the Bible, depending on how well versed your children are with Bible stories. I think that matters also. And to be able to go and explain to her what was happening and how that aligned with a lot of the stories in the Bible, and like what we can learn from that story and how we can actually apply it to life. That is basically how our literature is going. And so we're about to start on these last 4 books with The Good and Beautiful that I purchased. And I may be going and looking online at their teacher guides to see exactly if there's any correlation or not with this elective, which I called an elective, which was the Watercolors Around the World. This comes with the instruction book, and it comes with the template sheet, and then it also came with the 4 books, which I've shown you before. I won't show those to you again. I just want to see if it's going to tie in any way or not. But we're really excited about this because we haven't started, because I wanted to wait to see if there was any alignment between the two. So I'll be looking into that. And if not, we'll just dive right in and enjoy this elective for what it is by itself, if it's a standalone versus an accompaniment to the literature books that it came with. But I'm really excited for her to kind of dive in. I love how it gives them specific instruction on how they're actually to paint. So I feel like it's really going to be giving her good lessons and tips that she should know as an artist when she's painting. And these are just some of the different things in here that she'll be doing. So altogether, there's about 12 projects for her to paint and do. And so we're looking forward to that fun elective that we're going to do probably across 12 weeks. I haven't decided if we're going to do every other week or not. We have a lot of weeks left, of course, through the school year. And so I think we're going to be able to fit that in really easily across some 3 to 4 month span here for the elective. The other thing that I picked up for her to do was typing. This has been really great also. We have begun typing. It seems like it's just very self-explanatory. She can sit down with her laptop, her computer, and just go through the lessons and just read the directions and just type it. So it gives them a lesson and they just type it. And when they're done, they could put a sticker down there. There's some stickers in here they can use that shows it's completed. We've been tinkering with typing on and off for about 2 years now. And my daughter also does piano as an elective. So she's used to her fingers getting comfortable moving in different patterns. So I think that's going to help her with learning how to type quicker. But she's enjoying the typing, and I'm glad about that as well for her. For both of my girls, we are doing drawing. They love to draw. They draw all day, every day, I feel like, for at least a good hour to hour and a half, maybe 2 hours someday. And I also picked up some drawing books to help them with technique and style. And these are books for all ages. This one is from The Good and Beautiful. It's 100 Trees. They also had one that they offered, which was 100 Birds. But we're doing the one in trees. I'll give you a quick peek in there. I don't know if you could see or not, but it kind of just shows different types of trees. And it's just easy, step by step. They just follow 1, 2, 3, 4. They just follow each step, and it shows them how to draw the trees. And it's the same method for the other ones. I actually got level 1 and level 3. So my first grader's doing level 1, which is drawing vintage images, level 1. And then we also got level 3. And there's a little bit of difference as far as difficulty between them all. But my first grader can probably conquer some of the things in level 3. These are just a couple of pages of what you may see in level 1 versus level 3 if you're trying to decide which level of difficulty you should explore. Let me show you one more page. There's like a boat. You see how the further through the book you get, the more challenging the art design is here. So that's what we're doing for electives. So there's piano. My other daughter also does violin. We're doing drawing and watercolor paints. I have a very artistic, my girls are very into the arts. They're very creative people. And so that's why I lean heavily towards exposing them to more creative type electives. We are also exploring some different sport electives and things like that. We were doing gymnastics and things like that, and we'll continue to look into that in the future. But this year, we are continuing to focus on their interest in art. As far as family subjects, I have gone back and forth for the longest time with science. And I ended up going with the Abeka Science 3. And the reason why I went with the Abeka Science 3, because there were so many that I was looking into, and I just kept going back and forth, and finally I was just like, I need to make a decision. What are we going to do for science? Now, they are taking a marine biology course in their enrichment program that they are in. But in addition to that, I wanted my girls to be very well versed in science and have knowledge about a lot of different types of science and areas of science versus like one subject. So instead of just like doing earth science or life science, I wanted them to have a culmination of information about all types of science, anything from your solar system to biology, to botany, to life science, earth science, things like that. And we had done the Abeka science for grade 1, 2 for my oldest daughter. And so I had that curriculum already for my youngest daughter, and I was wanting to do family subjects, and I finally decided that I would just let them do their own science, and I would just teach 2 different sciences. I would reteach the first grade science to my younger daughter. I had taught it before, so I was familiar with it. It should be pretty easy for me to go through it. It has been, and she's been enjoying it, but then she also listens in to her sister's science as well, so she's kind of getting a double dose of science. They both are kind of getting a double dose of science. My older one getting the review with her younger sister, plus the more in-depth, detailed information. The reason that I went with the Abeka Science, Exploring God's Creation, because it was just a natural continuation from where we left off with second grade science, where it, you know, as I mentioned, was going to offer her a range of science. So from energy, experiments, earth science, plants, just everything, the human body, animal kingdom, habitats, all things that we have been exposed to and have reviewed and gone through before with the Abeka, but just deeper. I wanted to show you how thick it is here. It's pretty thick textbook here compared to how it is in the younger grades. I think for like first grade, it's very thin. It's probably like that big. And then it gets a little bit bigger for, you know, second grade. But like this is no joke. They went all in with it for third grade. So they're getting a lot more. They're getting a lot more details. So it's going very broad and very deep with those same subjects that she's already been exposed to. The same thing with health, safety, manners. I went with 3. This is part of the science curriculum. We skipped the animal. There's an animal book that comes with this, and there's like a teacher guide, and there's a workbook and everything that comes with both of these books. We didn't do this. I just did these 2 textbooks. We are notebooking our way through it and discussing and doing some of the experiments. We have done health, safety, and manners 1, 2, and now 3. I'm teaching it the same way. I'm teaching this to my 3rd grader. My 1st grader is kind of getting a little double dose of it as she's in the same room with us, and vice versa. She's getting the grade 1, and my older one gets that review as well. But as I mentioned, it just really builds up on each other really well. That's why I ended up coming back to the Abeka. I'm not sure what I'm going to end up doing next year, but I think for elementary science, this science and how it's just layered up on top of each other may be the way for me to continue. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens in the future. So the next subject we've added into as a family subject is a Bible study. And we are doing the Apologia, Who is God and Can I Really Know Him? This is part of the What the Believe series, volume 1. And I think this is a family subject. We usually start our day with this. And it's like they're one of their most enjoyable subjects. I was just kind of surprised that they were so excited about this. And we are actually doing the notebook journals, the junior journals that come with them. They each have their own junior journal. And so we are going through this. I have this on audiobook. I also read to them. So we do both and we have discussion. And we're doing their notebooks. And, you know, on those days where we have to kind of go with the flow of life. And I'm like, well, what 2 subjects do you want to do today? This always pops up. There's so much excitement around this family subject that we're doing. I am thoroughly enjoying this as well. It is a lot of review. You know, it teaches you something that kind of goes over and over and over it, but I think that's great for their age that they are, which are ages 6 and 8, and just kind of helps instill in them the word and the scriptures, and they're writing scriptures, and then they're coloring about scriptures, and they're writing prayers out. So this has been really a lot of fun and exciting for them as our family subject. And I'm so excited. I had been looking at this for several years and I just felt like they were too young. And I felt like this is just a perfect age to start them with it. And I believe they have some other different volumes that kind of go along with this. And so I may look into those in the future, but for now, we are very pleased with this. We're trucking along in this. I think we're on chapter 3 right now. This actually has in it 10 chapters. And so we're in chapter 3. So I'm thinking that we should be able to get done with this and finish if I stay on track with my plan by the end of the school year. Okay, so for writing this year, we were doing the structure and style, IAW structure and style. And so my daughter is in 3rd grade. She is 8 going into this. And I had wanted to do it last year for her and they were recommending it for 4th grade. But if you have a child that is an avid reader and is good with vocabulary and is comfortable with their penmanship and handwriting, whether it's print or cursive, I think that you would be comfortable moving forward with this at a 3rd grade, 8-year-old level versus having to wait for 4th grade. I am glad that I did wait another year because I just felt like she was more developmentally ready as far as like being able to process and understand some of the terminology in here. The last writing that we were doing just wasn't working for her because it didn't seem to be teaching her how to write. And so this one, we did purchase the videos to go with this, which have been great. And I have watched a lot of Andrew Pudewa's videos, and we actually had an opportunity to meet him. My daughter had a chance to meet him, and so did I, which was really neat. This is going really well. We are on, I believe, lesson 10 now with structure and style for students. This is actually the teacher's manual. And to be honest with you guys, I've kind of just been letting her go along with the videos. And I had started over the summer doing the teacher program because I did buy the teaching writing with structure and style, the seminar workbook, which is for the parent. And the reason I did this is because I felt like, even though my minor was in English, I just have never been a confident writer. Even through grad school, I wasn't a confident writer and just kind of wanted to see how I can learn more and continue learning even as an adult. And I kind of fell behind this and I've jumped back into it again. And this has been really great for me as a parent who just writes and you know, I'm interested in understanding what my child is going through in this writing course. And it also helps me be able to explain to her how and what to expect and how to do the assignments. So this is really good. Do I feel like it's necessary? I think if you watch the videos with your child, like the student videos, that it wouldn't necessarily be a necessity for you. And there's also, you know, the option of just kind of getting the guide and following the guide, the teaching guide, and just going along with that. And I wanted her to, she likes doing independent learning. And so there's an opportunity for her to have something that was just her own, that was very independent for her to have. And she's been enjoying it. Mr. Pudewa, the instructor on the video, is very entertaining and engaging for me as a parent and also for her as a student. And she really loves his jokes and things like that. So that's going really well. You do have to find time to go through and edit. And it's just really helping teach me how to learn how to teach her writing. And I feel like it just kind of is helping me remove any type of unknown expectations that I might have had about writing and helping me understand my child and a child's mind when it comes to writing and how to like put thoughts from your mind or words that you say onto paper in various forms. So this is really great, especially if you want to improve and grow as a writer yourself or as a teacher of writing. And I think when you finish this course, you can actually send in like the work you doing that you did on it if you actually go through and do the work. And there's like 2 different levels of like, I don't know what to call it, accreditation. I can't remember exactly what they call it, but you can kind of get some type of certification as a teacher of teaching structure and style, which is kind of neat also. So this is thumbs up all the way. If you have done IEW or any of Andrew Pudewa's and you love it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment below what your thoughts have been with it. But we have enjoyed this so far, and I think this is something that we will continue to do in the future. So we also were doing the Fix It Grammar from IEW, which was also something done by Andrew Pudewa. And this is just learning grammar in 15 minutes a day. So it's literally a story, and they're going through and they're learning grammar through the story by writing it out one sentence at a time. And this one is the Nose Tree book, which I thought was going to be kind of too easy for her. But in the end, it ended up not being too easy. She knew a lot in the beginning, so it kind of went fast, but then we kind of met exactly where she was and started learning some new grammar techniques in here. And so she had been asking me about the Abeka. I think she just likes the color and things that come in the Abeka books for the younger grades and third grades. So it has a lot of color and stuff in it, and pictures. And so this is just kind of a black and white type of text. You write one sentence a day, it takes about 15 minutes. You've got information like homophone. What is a homophone? You teach it to them out of your teacher manual. They have it here. They could read it and kind of go along and do some independent learning. And that's it. You know, it's about 15 minutes a day. It's simple. I mean, the story is neat, but you're just kind of reading one story. You're kind of just reading one sentence of the story a day. So it's really broken up, if you ask me. So you can't really follow it until you get to the end and you're able to read the whole story, which she has already flipped to the end and read the entire story. So she kind of knows what, you know, the story is. So that kind of keeps her engaged. But I did want her to do a little bit more. Now, the IEW writing takes about 45 minutes because they're watching a 30-minute video twice a week, approximately. And then they're having to do a little bit of writing. So it could take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, depending on if they are writing along with him or if she's wanting to kind of jump ahead and do a little bit more for that day. At minimal, I would say 35 minutes a day. But sometimes the videos may be 20 minutes and then there's a little bit of an assignment. So it's somewhere in that time frame. I wouldn't say any longer than 45 minutes for writing. And then when you add the 15 minutes of fixed grammar, then you have, and then you do like 20, 30 minutes of reading, you have an hour and a half of language arts, complete subject. But with her, because she is able to go through the fix it grammar really quick, and she was asking about the Abeka, I went ahead and ordered her language A from Abeka, which is actually the 3rd edition writing and grammar work text. We probably will not be doing any of the writing in here, but we will do some of the grammar pages. She's been enjoying it. And it's been complementing the Fix It Grammar really well. It's some of it, you know, it's starting off really basic with sentences and like writing sentences and run-on sentences and just really teaching her how to make fuller, complete, longer sentences and kind of combine sentences and put them together. And it's giving her the color that she likes and engages her, you know, in that. And to me, that's important because she likes it. She wants to open it and do it. And if that makes her excited about doing her work, I want her to be excited about doing her work and not bored with it. So I got her something that has some color. And this actually, we didn't do the 3rd grade because I felt like it would be a little redundant for her. So we skipped right to this, and she's not having any issue with this. She's going right into it very easily. As I mentioned, it's complementing this very well. And so I did not order the teacher curriculum guide for this. I just ordered the teacher answer key just to make sure that I kind of stay on point with what it was asking. And then she has a notebook because some of the assignments are on a notebook. And we don't do this every day. We do Fix It Grammar and IEW 4 times a week. And we do this maybe twice a week. So it's just an extra supplement, something to go alongside with it, depending on how long the lessons are with writing that day. We may or may not add this in. The Abeka Spelling in Poetry 3, I had picked up also. You probably saw we were doing Wordly Wise. We had not started that yet. Her sister was doing Spelling in Poetry 1. She wanted to do Spelling in Poetry also. And she wanted the color. I said, okay, you know, this is a couple of bucks. I think it's like less than $15. Even if that, we're going through this really quick. She likes it. She's enjoying it. She's picking, there's words. We just try to focus on the ones that she needs to practice. But it's just good reinforcement for her. And building the words out into different meanings and using them in different ways outside of just spelling. And then there's the poetry in here also, which she really has enjoyed also. So that is how our fall semester's going so far. The first 9 weeks of school, we've just had those few little tweaks that we've done, and there may be more to come. I'm not sure yet. Now, you might have noticed that there is no history. I have not mentioned any history curriculum at all. I didn't mention it in my video for curriculum for back to school for this school year, and it's not in this video either. History is something that I've really struggled with trying to land on whose history that I want to use. We have used Abeka history in the past, and there hasn't been anything wrong with it. There's just so much out there in history. There's so much going on with me trying to identify the most accurate history, or how I'm going to put that together to teach my kid history in a couple of different ways, because it's important for me to teach my kids world history, American history, Christian history, Black history, but I also just want them to have an appreciation of all cultures in the world, which we will touch on through world history. I just have not landed on how I'm going to pull that all together yet. I have begun looking at some texts and some books, and it may end up being something that I end up putting together myself. I just did not want to rush into something. I didn't want to just be doing it for the sake of it. We have done history in the past, and we do read books about historical characters and people, rather. And so we will probably dive into something a little bit more formal, possibly in the springtime or in the winter and spring semester, next semester. But like I said, just don't want to rush into it. I wanted to be really comfortable and really positive and confident. And so we're going to focus on science this semester and just like do lots and lots of science. And next semester, we'll focus on history and get lots and lots of history in. So versus spreading it out through the year, we're going to do those subjects by semester. At least for now. We'll see how the science continues to go or not. And if we don't finish science this semester, we'll continue science into the next semester, and along with the history as well. So I would love to hear you guys' history picks. If you just really love a history that's out there, I kind of have a top 3 list that I want to kind of mix together. But like I said, we will see how it ends up going. I may just try one out and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, then I know I'm going to have to kind of piecemeal and make my own history curriculum type of thing together. And we'll just read and do lots of learning through literature, history wise. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for sticking with me this far. This video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But I hope that you were able to, as I mentioned, enjoy it. And I really appreciate you guys being a part of my community. Be sure to share this video with someone that you think would enjoy it as well. Or need a little bit of like, hey, I'm not in it alone midway through the fall semester. Keep going. We got this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.